Here. Sweet. Welcome to the last week of Energy for Life. Yay! Yahoo! Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. And for those of you guys watching the replay, we appreciate you. You know, this was our first time going through this program. And so we are seriously so appreciative that you guys took a chance on us and learning how to implement different nutrition and exercise regimens in your daily lifestyle. So we are going to tag team this today, Kim and I. I'm going to share my screen. Let me see here. Okay, hang on. Screen, share. Is this working?
Yeah, I see it.
Hey, Dad, can you mute yourself since there's people in the background?
Yes. Yep, I can. Let's see. How do I do that?
If you go into the corner of your video, it says mute.
Yep. There should be a. Oh, hang on.
And if you have
Yep,
anything that you
it.
want to add, go ahead and unmute. Okay, perfect. Sweet. All right. Kim, you can take it away.
So we just wanted to kind of pull together a module that kind of helps everybody know, like, where do they go from there? Where do we go from here after this 12 weeks, after you've kind of tried to incorporate in all this nutrition information you've gotten, and hopefully the exercise regimens that you've kind of been doing throughout. We want to talk about, like, how do you move forward with this? And I know there's some different scenarios. Some of you might have just stuck to it and just done wonderfully throughout the whole program. Others might have, you know, been really into it when it started and then kind of faltered off. Other people might just be trying to catch up and trying to read all the modules. At whatever point you're at, you still have another month to have access to the exercises as well as the modules. So if you didn't get a chance to get through everything, don't worry. You have a little time to walk through things. And you know, basically, I just kind of want to take a step back to that very first module that we did, talking about goal setting. So we talked about creating that SMART goal. All kind of thought about what area that you wanted to work on most. And we had you kind of walk through all those different aspects of it, making sure that it was specific and measurable. And why can't I remember A right now already?
Okay, so, isn't it
achievable, realistic, and then time bound, right? So if I want you at some point, all of you, to pull out those goals and actually let's look at them now. Let's determine, how well did we do? How well did you do over the past 12 weeks with that goal? You know, did you meet the goal? Did you partially meet the goal? Was that goal just kind of out of your reach? I want you to think about those things. And if you met that goal, that's fantastic. We hope that, you know, you found it easier now, like as the weeks progress, to stick to that goal just with that consistency and perseverance, which those are things we know that are so important for creating those long-term habits. Is just, even though they might seem difficult, maybe you didn't get to it one day, is to the next day, try to do it again, and over and over and over. And with that repetition, things should get a little bit easier. And we hope that you found that with any habits that you were trying to create. If you didn't, or if you struggled with whatever SMART goal you had set, let's talk about, you know, what are some issues that got in the way? Did you not find that you had enough time to get to your goal, or whether it be exercise or nutritional changes? Did you find that your motivation kind of slowed or slacked off? Do you think it was maybe that you needed a little more accountability or support from family or friends or whatever? Was the goal too aggressive or too lofty? You know, sometimes we set these goals and we have really great intentions initially, and then our motivation kind of falls off. So, and maybe we determine that if we jump to, I'm going to go from doing nothing as far as exercise goes, and I'm going to just jump into 5 days a week. Well, maybe that was too much. Maybe you needed to start with more like 1 day a week or 2 days a week, or just something that's a little more achievable. And maybe it was not the fact that you couldn't do, 3 sessions, but maybe 30 minutes was too much for you. So maybe, maybe working out for 15 minutes, maybe you're starting there, you're starting smaller, maybe it's 5 minutes a couple times a day. Moving forward, anything you can do to increase that movement or that activity from where you currently are is going to be progress. And you need to actually look at that as a success, as compared to saying, I didn't meet this goal of working out 30 minutes, 3 days a week. That is not failure. If you did more than what you were doing before, that is successful. So maybe we need to take a step back. We need to revise that goal. How can we adjust that goal to set yourself up for success the next time? So number 2, where do you want to go from here? You go down for me, Rachel. Thank you.
Yes.
So first of all, like specifically with exercise, if you exercises, if you found that, I did great, the bands and the body weight were great, but I'm ready to move on. So maybe one thing you're going to do is try to challenge yourself further. Maybe you're going to start using heavier resistance bands. So maybe you're using, the lighter resistance. Maybe you're going to move and just continue to challenge your muscles and fatigue them. Maybe you're going to add on dumbbells or barbells, or, working out in the gym, whatever. Maybe you're going to increase, like I talked about, your workout time. So maybe you're like 30 minutes, no problem, got through that. I was doing that 3 days a week. So maybe we're going to, move it forward. Maybe we're going to do 35 or 40-minute workouts each time. Maybe we're going to actually increase the number of repetitions you do with each exercise. So maybe, you were doing 10 repetitions. Maybe you increase that to 12 repetitions. With each exercise. Maybe we increase the number of sets. So maybe you're, I know with all of our workouts, we were doing 3 sets of exercise. So 3 circuits. Maybe you increase that. Maybe you do 4 circuits. Maybe you do 5 circuits of those exercises. When it comes to the nutrition or those lifestyle changes that we had talked about in our modules, let's talk about, which areas do you struggle with and which areas were like no problem at all. Let's go through and evaluate those. So like, what about hydration? Was that an issue for you? Or was it like, nope, got this under control. I drink 100 ounces a day. Maybe you're like, nope, I can barely get in 2 cups a day. So as Rachel's drinking her water.
I know, sorry, I took a sip of water. I'm thirsty.
Yeah. So evaluating that, how did you achieve that goal? Was that going well? How can we make it go better? How can we get in a little more hydration? When we talked about those macro balanced meals, looking at your protein, your fat, and your carbs that you're consuming. How well are you doing? Do you struggle with protein? Do you struggle with, those refined carbs? Maybe we need to, maybe you have a harder time, getting in those complex carbohydrates, or getting in, maybe more of those refined or processed fats versus those healthier plant-based fats. So evaluating that, maybe those were areas that you would like to work on a little bit more. When it comes to meal planning, how are you? Do you struggle with knowing what you're going to make at the end of the day? Or, is it too easy? Just grab those quick and easy, or order DoorDash. Maybe that's where you want to focus in. Rachel talked about those great vitamins and minerals that we need for energy levels. Do you feel like, what you're consuming, are you getting those in, or are you taking a multivitamin to help cover your bases? However that is going. Fueling around exercise, which is just so important. Just making sure that you're getting in adequate protein, you're getting in adequate carbohydrates, especially when you're increasing the times that you're working out during the week. If you find that like, I went from working out 1 day a week to working out 3 to 5 days a week, and you're like, I'm just tired. When I go into those workouts, I don't have as much energy. It might mean that you're not fueling adequately around those exercises, around those workouts, to kind of replenish those stores of carbohydrates and help to heal those muscles that you're tearing down. And then finally, our last 2 modules on stress and sleep. We know So important. You could be doing everything else right. You can be eating great. You can be, you know, exercising and moving your body. But if you're not, you know, finding ways to alleviate stress, things, you know, meditation and things that you enjoy doing and therapy, then you know what? It's not going to make a darn difference. You're going to struggle in the other areas. And sleep even more so, making sure that you're getting in at least that 7 to 9 hours of sleep at night and that it's restful. So, so important. All these areas are so important. And so maybe, sorry. You know, thinking through maybe if you have attained and you're doing great in one area, maybe you know, for the next thing, the next 12 weeks, you want to work on one of these other areas that you feel like you need a little help with. So kind of going through all the different modules, especially if you didn't get a chance to read one, we have all of those videos on YouTube that we've shared with you. You can always go there and look over and watch those videos at any time. Yeah, and we'd love your feedback on any of those things. So if you feel like one module was and you're like, yes, this was really great, or another module, you might say, oh, I really wish you had talked about more about iron in your vitamins, minerals, something that we would love that feedback because it's so important. And we would, you know, because we are trying to revamp these modules and make them as good as possible for the next time that we launch. And you guys could all help us with that. We would so appreciate it.
Yeah, or even if there was like a module that you wish there was in here that we didn't even chat about.
Absolutely.
That would be like great because we can always maneuver things. And if you're like, oh, I want to know more about this, we can always put that module together and send it to you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So, but yeah, like also from where to go from here. So we want you to check in like right now, like how are your energy levels? So compared to when you started this program 12 weeks ago to where you are now, maybe it's like, man, I noticed such a big difference. But also like sometimes it's very hard to notice a massive difference in just a 3-month time span. So think about kind of some small increments of change that you noticed. Like, oh, I used to get home from work and I'd have to sit on the couch for 10 minutes before doing anything. Like maybe now you only have to sit on the couch for 5 minutes before you do something. Like that is an improvement towards that goal. Or maybe now, like you don't need to have the afternoon coffee that you typically will normally have. Or maybe you like had it every single day, but now you're only having it twice a week. Like that is progress. And so make sure that you're celebrating all these wins because a lot of times we are thinking about that all or nothing mindset. So if I'm not doing it all the time, it's not worth it. And that is like so far from the truth. So any little thing that you can try to grasp onto that you've noticed a change within these past 12 weeks, we definitely encourage you to think back on that because you guys have put in all this work. And so it'd be awesome just for you guys to be able to relish in kind of all the great work you have done. So yes, also like remembering that all of these changes are supposed to be incorporated into a long-term healthy lifestyle. And so if you haven't been able to kind of master any of the modules or goals, like there's nothing that you have to master it for. There's not a time frame that you need to get it by. Like, oh, you get it by this time, you get an A in this. No. This is like all about your life. And so you don't need to have like a time frame exactly that like I need to hit this by this because we want you to incorporate everything just to continue to have this healthy lifestyle throughout all of your years and making that achievable for you. Maybe this 12-week program went by too quickly and it was hard for you to implement all these changes, new changes every week. Make sure that you look at all this stuff over in this next month that you still have access to it, write things down, and then try to incorporate it maybe every month if that's more sustainable for you, because we want you guys to be able to incorporate all this into a long-term healthy lifestyle change. So with that, the last thing that we would ask for you guys to do after obviously like going through this module is to complete the feedback forms. So if you remember at the beginning of the program, we had sent out like just a little symptom questionnaire. And so the feedback form includes some of those questions, and it will be great to see if you've noticed any changes in that. But also we have a lot of questions just for asking for feedback on our program. Again, like we would greatly appreciate it. And also to say thank you, we will send us $10 Starbucks gift card to your email, because we're looking to improve. We're looking to improve this, and we want that honest feedback. If you have things that are constructive criticism, we want to hear it. If you have positive things, we want to hear it. And then also feel free to go and give us a Google review. We have the link right here, and also the form, the feedback form is attached to this module, and I had also sent it in a previous email as well, so you may have it like a couple times within your Practice Better platform. But if you just go to forms within Practice Better for You, you'll see it there. And then complete the Google review, and we are very appreciative of all you guys that have gone through this program, and for supporting our small business. So we have enjoyed working with all of you. We hope you have gained some insight. And also, like, if you still have questions throughout these next couple of weeks, please message us, like, again, and don't be strangers to us. If you went through this and you noticed, hey, like, I actually need a little bit more support on this with my nutrition, and you want to dig a little deeper, like, we're here for nutrition coaching. We can do one-on-one sessions with you. Same if you're like noticing with exercise, you want that accountability and want to go and do personal training, we're here for that as well. So know that this doesn't need to be the last that you work with us. And if you realize in a year down the road, even you're like, oh, maybe I need a little pick me up in the nutrition realm, like, make sure you reach out to us. So
Absolutely.
yeah. And like Kim said, sorry, you'll have access to all the exercises and the nutrition modules until June 1st. So feel free to do what you want with until that time. And on Trainerize, you'll still have access to all the videos as well, until, yes, June 1st.
Absolutely. Thank you all for being our first guinea pigs for this program, and we appreciate any and all feedback you give us.
Yes. Before we sign off, do you guys have any questions that are on here?
Well, I just think that I've learned a lot of things from just going through everything and trying to be consistent with being in. And you know, I may have not done big things, but there's a lot of little pieces that I have picked up from, you know, from the entire process, whether it be drinking a glass of water the first thing in the morning to, looking at a label and saying, oh, this has sugar, or this has, refined sugars and things like that. So, it's those little kind of things that, you put together one-on-one like that, like I just had a situation talking with one of the guys here. He says, oh, I'm not trying to drink. He makes beer, and he says, well, I'm not trying to drink the beer because of the carbs, so I'm drinking wine. I said, well, wine is sugar, which turns into carbs. So he goes, oh, really?
So you ruined his vacation.
Yeah.
No, he's retired, so he can figure it out.
There we go.
Anyway,
there you go.
Anyway, but those are the kind of things that that I picked up on. So anyway, so I thought it's been very good.
Good.
I think those are little wins. I love those. I mean, even if we put something in your head just to think about the next time you're at the grocery store, or when you're buying things, reading ingredient labels, those are all wins.
Exactly. So good. Well, I appreciate it, and it's been fun.
Thank you so much.
I would agree with what Mike said. I think a lot of the things, especially people that kind of our age, as we get a little bit older, you don't have as much motivation and enthusiasm to get out and do these things, or to really give too much consideration to. I think one of the biggest things I'm finding this time around is, 15 years ago, I go do this and I could drop weight really fast, but them come off quite as fast anymore. So,
it gets a little bit harder as we get older.
Yeah, and I dragged a bit, you know, in the beginning of this, and I know, you know, I think a lot of it was mental. I wasn't really too in tune and too ready, but you know, we've had a good, I started doing a few things, and then I think, you know, a few weeks back when kind of just started making sense, then it's, you know, the drinking water all the time, you know, I'm getting the exercise every other day. I'm not trying to do it every day because I know I'll probably burn me out again and then not want to do it. So it's very good. And I think, you know, I think to your point, you know, you got to take the full session in mind, you know, into mind about the things you can do, little changes in food, you know, better improvements in what we're drinking, and a little bit of exercise here and there makes a big difference. So.
Yep.
Yes.
Good job.
Totally.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah.
Good job, you guys. That's
Awesome.
awesome.
Good.
Well, we thank you again. And unless Tim has anything else to say, we will say bon voyage for now.
Bon voyage. Have a good trip.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you to
Thanks.
everyone. And please,
you.
everybody, don't hesitate to reach out if y'all have questions. We're still available.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks. Have a nice vacation, Mike.
Okay. Thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.